guys, Hannah here and welcome to today's mini Zentangle session. Today is week 7, day 3, and I must apologise for sounding like a smurf. I appear to have lost my voice somewhere along the line. The materials we're going to need today are a black fine liner pen or a black biro, a black pencil, a tortillon or blending stump if you haven't got one, an earbud, and a square white piece of card. And this one measures 5 by 5 centimetres, which is 2 by 2 inches. If you'd like to get your materials and settle down comfortably, then we can begin. Today's tangle is really quite simple. It's very cute and it's a great tangle for borders. So I'm going to start off using my pen and I'm going to draw 2 lines next to each other, spaced a little bit apart but going in the same direction. And I'm then turning my tile slightly to the side, and then along the top I'm drawing a line. Now the line isn't very long, it's about 3/4 of the length of these two here, and I'm going to call these a stalk because it's easier to explain it that way. And then I'm drawing from the stalk to the end point of that line a triangle which I'm colouring in. So we've got something that looks a little bit like that. I'm then going to follow the exact contour either side of those triangles, starting from the stalk, so we end up with a very, very wide V. And then all I'm going to do is draw a line along the top to join the two. And we end up with something that looks a little bit like that. I'm going to carry on and I'm going to repeat it, following along with 2 more lines. A line along the top, and then the triangle on either side, which I'm colouring in full black, and then another 2 lines coming out, and then that line along the top to join it. And I'm just going to repeat it, and some of my stalks might be a little bit wider, some of them might be a little bit longer. It doesn't matter too much. We've now got something that looks a little bit like that. It reminds me of those fountains you see, the expensive ones, where they all fire out the water from different directions. Or maybe that's just me and how I'm seeing it. So that's about the gist of it. I'm going to use my pencil now, and there's a couple of ways to shade this one. First of all, I can put some shading in at the top of those stalks, and using the tip of my blending tool or my earbud, I'm just going to bring that shade down. The other way you can shade is just down the side of it here, and both of them you get a different effect with, and you can see the difference between the top 2 and the bottom 2. So find whichever way you feel is comfortable for you. And there are a couple of ways to draw this, and I'm going to show you some examples. I know I normally leave this part to the end, but I've drawn one here that I've drawn in a square shape, and then I've left a box in the centre which I can then add some different tangles on. And you'll notice that as I've gone round the corner, I've taken those 2 stalks and I've just veered them off in that roundish way. The next sample I've done, which I quite like, is in a circle. And you know me and circles, I do love my circles. And this is very simple. I just started off with a pencil circle line, a pencil circle, and then I drew each one of these patterns around it. I've then done this one where they sort of all veer off into different directions. So you've got the main sort of stalk, if you like, there, and then they branch off into different arms. And with this one, instead of doing the triangular shapes, I've just done like a half moon shape, and then I've followed it round and I've just put a few dots in. And then here's when it gets a little bit different. I've done one that has got several different layers on the top, and I've just boxed them up. And if you remember, a couple of weeks ago we did a tangle that was called BB, that looked to me like the fences in the garden, but one lady suggested it looked like a row of books piled on top of each other. This is the same or a similar principle, and with the shading I have also shaded down the side of each of those. And then finally I've done one that's completely different, and I'm going to show you an example of this one in a minute, which is why I've shown these samples now. So we start off with the original 2 stalks and then we veer off, and on this one I've done semicircles and coloured them in and circles around. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to draw this one here where they both veer off. So I've started with a fresh tile, and again I'm going to draw 2 stalks like that, and then I'm going to draw a V that side and a V that side, and you'll notice that they are quite wide. And then I'm going to draw the rest of the stalk with another V on the inside, and you get something that looks like that. And this is where you can have some fun. So you can draw a circular one if you wanted to. You can pick different shapes. So with this one, again, I've gone with a sort of a semicircle, not as pronounced as that one. And then on this one, I'm going to take the arms out a little bit longer and draw another one. So we've got 2. And then following the exact same contour, I'm just going to take that side up and that side up, and then join them in the top. And I'm going to draw another one, and I'm going to show you what happens when you have 2 that are relatively close to each other, and then you have to draw behind, and hopefully that'll make more sense once I've drawn it. So if I'm going to draw this one here on the left hand side, it's almost going to touch, if not touch. So using the method of drawing behind, I would draw here and then I would stop when I reach that line, and then I would carry on afterwards. So you get one where the one on the right hand side is drawn first, and it sits over the top of the left hand side. And with regards for shading for that one, I would also put a little bit of shading there, because then it shows a little bit more that that one's on the top. And go back to the examples, that's the way I drew that one. So we started off with the one that was all straight lines going up like a fountain, and then the square, and then the circular one, and then we end up with this nutty one here. I say nutty one, it's just because it doesn't, for me it just looks a little bit different than the original. I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and I look forward to seeing your artwork, and please join me tomorrow for day 4. Bye for now.